So, Kevin, before we get started, could you just tell us a bit about your role at FNZ Group and what your responsibilities are there?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the group CISO for FNZ, which covers pretty much everything from a security perspective from a first line. So those who aren't familiar, we have kind of three lines of defense. So first line is kind of the operational side of things, the delivery teams, etc. Second line is risk function, third line is audit. So yeah, my team covers security operations, infrastructure security, cloud security, AppSec, and culture and awareness across the group. So yeah, pretty much everything that security has a touch point with my team somewhere.
Perfect. So that segues quite nicely into what I wanted to discuss with you today, actually. So you've obviously got a lot of experience building and leading security teams. And I'm sure you also have experience of working for CISOs early in your career as well. What do you believe, based on your experience, is the best structure for a security team if you want to be successful?
That's a million dollar question. I think it's going to vary a little bit depending on what your remit is and what your organization looks like. Non-financial orgs have a looser interpretation of kind of three lines of defense. So you tend to be kind of a 1.5 or 1.8 lines as a CISO. So you do more of the risk function as well in some roles. So it will depend very much on your organization. So for me, it's the key bit is understanding what your remit is and what your organization needs, and then building the right team to deliver that. So you're going to cover some operational stuff. Yeah, a bit like what I've kind of said, my team is you're probably going to have some operational SecOpsy type stuff. You're probably going to have some infrastructure. You may or may not have cloud, depending where your org is. Product and application security will depend. Again, if you're a product company that builds stuff, that's a bigger function than if you're not. I think culture is a really important one. Everyone should have some culture stuff in there because getting that understanding of security across the organization is really critical to success of both you and the organization. And it also depends a little bit on the kind of view of your org and your view on outsourcing versus insourcing. So take operations, as an example, a lot of companies, especially smaller ones, may use an MSS providing the kind of security service and operational security and monitoring response. So they would have maybe a very small in-house team that mostly liaises with the security service provider versus having a big 24/7 in-house team. So yeah, it's going to depend a bit, but yeah, you can have a bunch of similar functions and similar capabilities, but depending on the size of your org and what your remit is, and things like physical security as well, right? Some CISOs have physical, some don't. So if that sits in your world, that's another area that you'd have to cover.
Yeah, I guess a lot of the success depends, especially if you're focused on an in-house team. A lot of the success kind of depends on the people that you hire, and being able to identify security talent when it's out there. Can you give us an insight into what it is you look for when you're hiring security talent for your teams?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a massive fan of the fact that the people comes first. So you have the whole people, process, tech. Get the people right and you get the process and tech right because you'll have the right people building the right processes and the right tech. So my success, I'm very open. And my success is my team's success. The more senior you get, the more your success is based on how well your team does. It's not me that delivers all of the security for our organization. It's my team and working across the org. So fundamentally, that even if you're selfish, building the right team makes you look great because your team delivers and you look awesome, right? So yeah, I think for me, the team part is, and I keep using that word, but it's building a team that is a team. So a real hallmark success are people that want to work together and want to kind of pull together and get in behind your vision and your mission to deliver things as a group. So I really look for kind of people who want to be part of what we're building and part of that team and supporting each other. And then it's much more around attitude, certainly, especially more junior roles. It's really about that kind of keenness to learn, loving security, wanting to get involved, wanting to do things, wanting to get stuck in is far more important than have you got this or that bit of experience, because you'll learn that, but you can never learn that keenness, that wanting to, that attitude and that way of working. You can't really learn that, right? That's something that people will have. You can help support them, but that's the kind of real key things. And things like an interest in the industry generally. So when you have an interview, talking to people about what conferences you've been to or what books you've read, what blogs you read, that sort of thing. So people who show that kind of interest, and that's where things like certs and that come in as well, right? So it's not, they're never an essential thing, but certs or degrees, whatever, especially if you've gone and done them off your own back. So you've got someone who's trying to get into the industry, for example, and they've gone and done a security plus or some other bits. in their own time because they're that keen to get in. That just shows that keenness. It's not the cert that wins so much as the fact they're that keen and they'll put that work in. So yeah, keenness, teamwork, those kind of things are the key things I look for. And obviously with more senior roles, you need some experience in that area as well, because they'll be guiding the other people in the team. But it's very much about attitude and being part of that team and mission that is, I think, key.